Tonight, before anything else is explained, you are invited to slow down. Not to stop thinking, not to force silence, but to gently arrive where you already are. The mind may still be active, thoughts moving like distant traffic, but beneath that motion something quieter is present. This opening is not about information. It is about orientation, about noticing the space in which learning will happen. You are listening now, and that simple fact carries something extraordinary. Sound reaches you, meaning forms, attention gathers. Neuroscience tells us that awareness is not located in a single point in the brain, but emerges from networks working together, moment by moment. Billions of neurons exchange signals, yet none of them, alone, knows that you are here. And still, here-ness is undeniable. This is where the journey begins. Not with a concept, but with experience. Before consciousness is divided into stages or names, it is felt as presence. You do not create this presence. You notice it. It is already functioning, already aware, already open. Even confusion appears inside it, like a ripple on water that does not disturb the depth below. As you settle into this noticing, it becomes clear that thoughts behave like events. They appear, linger briefly, and dissolve. Brain imaging shows that no thought remains stable for more than a few seconds unless it is repeatedly reactivated. And yet, something observes this constant change without changing itself. This observer does not age with the thoughts. It does not rush when the mind rushes. It simply remains. This is not mystical language. It is descriptive. Attention itself is measurable. Scientists can track when it shifts, when it narrows, when it opens. What cannot be easily located is the one to whom these shifts occur. You sense effort when attention tightens. You sense ease when it relaxes. The sensing comes first. Interpretation follows later. For most of life, this distinction is overlooked. Awareness is mistaken for its contents. The movie is confused for the screen. Emotions feel solid. Identity feels fixed. But when you pause here, in this opening space, the mechanics quietly reveal themselves. Experience is moving. Awareness is still. Experience is colored. Awareness is clear. Take a breath without controlling it. Feel how the body breathes itself. This is another quiet demonstration. Complex systems often operate without conscious command. Your heart adjusts its rhythm. Your nervous system scans for safety. Your brain predicts the next moment before it arrives. Consciousness is not the manager of these processes. It is the witness of them. In this witnessing, a gentle humility appears. You begin to sense that the self you usually defend is not the source of life, but an expression within it. Psychology calls this decentering. Meditation traditions call it remembering. The words differ, but the recognition is similar. You are not being reduced. You are being widened. This opening chapter is a threshold. It does not demand belief. It only asks for attention. As awareness becomes interested in itself, curiosity replaces effort. Instead of trying to understand consciousness, consciousness begins to feel itself understanding. This reversal is subtle, but it changes the direction of the journey entirely. Soon, the movement of consciousness will be explored in stages, from the most instinctive to the most liberated. But before movement, there is stillness. Before development, there is ground. You are resting on that ground now, whether you realize it or not. Nothing needs to be achieved in this moment. The fact that you are aware is enough. And as this awareness quietly stabilizes, it prepares to observe its own evolution, beginning with the most basic question of all: how consciousness first learns to survive. Before continuing, it feels important to acknowledge the shared space that makes this moment possible. If you are a member of this channel, returning again to explore these ideas, your presence matters. Learning is not only individual, it is communal. Attention deepens when it is shared. Thank you for choosing to spend this time here, for lending your curiosity and patience to a conversation that unfolds slowly, and for allowing this space to remain gentle, thoughtful, and human. In this opening, you are not being asked to change who you are. You are being invited to notice how awareness already holds who you are. Like a night sky that allows clouds to pass without effort, consciousness permits thoughts, memories, and questions to drift through. The sky is never improved by clearer clouds. It is simply revealed when the clouds move on their own. As the journey continues, this simple recognition will quietly support everything that follows. Each stage will add complexity, story, and challenge. But beneath every stage, this same awareness remains, steady and unbroken, waiting to be noticed again from new angles and deeper questions. In silence, and as this still awareness rests within you now, it begins to lean gently toward its first movement, the ancient instinct to survive, and the question of how consciousness learns to protect itself before it learns anything else. You begin here where consciousness narrows itself to a single task: staying alive. Attention tightens, like a fist closing, gathering energy toward what matters most. In this stage, awareness is not curious or reflective. It is practical, fast, and alert. The nervous system leads, scanning the environment for threat and opportunity, long before language or reason have time to speak. The body becomes the primary messenger. Hunger signals depletion, pain signals danger, fatigue signals risk. These sensations are not stories yet. They are commands. Neuroscience shows that survival circuits activate milliseconds before conscious thought appears. You do not decide to flinch. You flinch, and only later does the mind explain why. At this level, the world feels sharp. Sounds startle easily. Silence can feel unsafe. The unknown is interpreted as danger by default. This is not pessimism. It is efficiency. A brain designed to survive assumes the worst so that life may continue at all. Fear here is not weakness. It is intelligence shaped by time. Thoughts orbit around protection. Will there be enough food? Enough money? Enough strength? Enough shelter? The future is imagined only to prevent harm, not to dream. The past is remembered only for lessons that reduce risk. Meaning has not entered the picture yet, because survival does not require meaning. It requires response. Psychology calls this a reactive state. The mind responds to stimuli without distance. There is little space between event and action. If danger appears, the body moves. If safety appears, the body rests. Awareness is fused with instinct, and identity is almost entirely physical. This stage is ancient, shared with every animal that breathes. It carried humanity through ice, hunger, and uncertainty. Without it, no higher awareness could ever emerge. It deserves respect, not judgment. Even now, it activates when you cross a busy street or hear an unexpected sound in the dark. But when consciousness remains here beyond necessity, something subtle happens. The survival response stops turning off. The nervous system forgets how to rest. Fear becomes a lens through which everything is viewed. Neutral events feel threatening. Silence feels suspicious. Life becomes a series of defenses. In this state, growth feels dangerous. Stillness feels unsafe. The body prepares for emergencies that never arrive. And slowly, almost invisibly, awareness becomes trapped inside protection, unable to relax long enough to ask why it is protecting at all. Yet even here, something important is forming. Survival consciousness lays the foundation for the next expansion. Once safety is temporarily secured, awareness begins to notice something beyond threat. Sensation, connection, and feeling. The fist loosens slightly, preparing to feel instead of only defend. It is a quiet readiness, not yet emotional, not yet reflective. Awareness is still rooted in the body, but curiosity begins to flicker faintly. Safety creates space. Space allows sensation. And sensation will soon become the doorway through which consciousness learns to feel rather than merely endure. This transition waits quietly, asking nothing, until attention naturally turns outward and inward together slowly. And as survival softens its grip, awareness leans toward a new discovery, that life is not only something to be protected, but something that can be felt. You move gently out of pure survival, and awareness begins to widen. The world is no longer only something to defend against. It is something that can be felt. Sensation deepens into emotion, and life gains color. Pleasure draws you forward. Pain pulls you back. Attachment forms quietly, almost invisibly, around what feels good and what hurts. At this stage, identity begins to grow from feeling. You learn who you are by how you feel in response to others. Loved or ignored, accepted or rejected, safe or exposed. Emotion becomes information, and soon it becomes definition. The nervous system no longer asks only, "Am I alive?" It asks, "Am I valued?" Joy here feels expansive and intoxicating. It lifts the body, lightens thought, and creates the sense that life is working as it should. Suffering, by contrast, feels intimate and personal. When pain appears, it does not feel like an experience passing through awareness. It feels like something happening to you. Psychology shows that emotional memory is stored more vividly than neutral memory, reinforcing this sense of permanence. Emotions rise and fall like weather systems moving through the mind. Yet without distance, the mind believes each one will last forever. Happiness is chased, feared to be lost. Sadness is resisted, feared to define the future. Love becomes something to hold tightly. Loss becomes something to avoid at any cost. In this stage, the inner world becomes louder. Thoughts replay conversations. Feelings echo long after events end. You are not only responding to the present moment, but to remembered emotion and anticipated pain. This is where most human conflict is born, not from cruelty, but from unexamined feeling. Emotional consciousness is not a mistake. It teaches connection. It allows empathy. It creates bonds strong enough to hold families, communities, and cultures together. Without emotion, there would be no care, no art, no meaning attached to life. But when emotions are believed completely, they become identity. I am angry becomes I am an angry person. I feel afraid becomes I am unsafe. Awareness fuses with feeling, and flexibility disappears. Life narrows again, not into survival, but into emotional defense. Still, something is quietly preparing to change. As emotions repeat, a subtle question begins to form. Is this feeling permanent? Is it truly who I am? The moment awareness wonders this, even faintly, space appears. And in that space, consciousness prepares to step beyond feeling, toward the structures, roles, and stories that will soon define the self. This shift does not arrive suddenly. It emerges through repetition, disappointment, and reflection. Emotions exhaust themselves by being felt fully. Over time, awareness grows curious about patterns rather than reactions. It notices how feelings arise without permission and fade without command. That curiosity becomes the seed of distance. And distance, once felt, invites the mind to organize experience, giving birth to belief, role, and meaning. Soon, this organizing impulse will shape identity itself, carrying consciousness gently into its next stage of becoming someone in the world. And as emotion begins to organize itself into story and structure, awareness slowly turns toward the question of who it must be, not just what it feels, within the larger world. At this stage, something subtle yet powerful unfolds. Awareness begins to see itself reflected in other minds. You notice how you are perceived, and slowly, that perception begins to matter. The world becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, a self takes form. Not from feeling alone, but from meaning, expectation, and recognition. You become a name spoken by others, a role performed repeatedly, a set of beliefs learned, defended, and carried forward. Family, culture, and society provide the raw material. Nationality offers belonging. Religion offers explanation. Career offers value. Gender offers framework. Success and failure provide orientation. Each layer adds definition, and together they construct an identity that feels solid and real. The guiding question shifts quietly. It is no longer, how do I feel in this moment? It becomes, who am I supposed to be here? Attention moves toward rules, norms, and narratives. You learn what is acceptable and what invites disapproval. You sense what is rewarded and what is ignored. Slowly, certain thoughts are expressed freely, while others are hidden, edited, or silenced. Psychology describes this as social conditioning, a necessary process for cooperation and survival within groups. The brain is highly sensitive to social threat. Rejection activates the same neural circuits as physical pain. Approval releases chemical rewards that reinforce behavior. This is not weakness. It is design. Humans survive together, not alone. At this stage, the ego fully forms, not as arrogance, but as structure. It is a mask worn to navigate complexity. It says, "This is who I am," so that others know how to respond. The mask becomes useful. It allows prediction, creates continuity. It offers a sense of control. Yet the mask is heavy. Maintaining it requires attention. You monitor your words. You manage impressions. You compare yourself to others, measuring worth through external standards. Anxiety arises when the mask feels threatened. Shame appears when it slips. Pride emerges when it is admired. Most of adult life unfolds here. Careers are built. Relationships are negotiated. Values are defended. Identity becomes something to protect. And while this structure brings stability, it also brings limitation. Awareness becomes invested in the story of me, and anything that challenges the story feels personal. Still, cracks begin to appear. Roles change. Beliefs conflict. Expectations become exhausting. You notice that the mask must constantly adapt, yet never fully satisfies. A quiet question emerges beneath the performance. Who am I without these roles? Who remains when no one is watching? This question does not destroy identity. It loosens it. Awareness begins to sense that the self it has been protecting may be a construction rather than a core. This recognition does not arrive as certainty. It arrives as curiosity, and curiosity gently prepares consciousness to step beyond social definition, toward thinking, questioning, and understanding itself more deeply. The mask remains for now, but it no longer feels permanent. Something is beginning to look behind it, waiting to understand. And as the story of me begins to feel constructed rather than absolute, awareness slowly turns toward thought itself, preparing to question the beliefs it once accepted without hesitation. For some, a crack appears, a quiet doubt. The stories you have lived by, the narratives that shaped your feelings, your roles, your identity, suddenly feel incomplete. Something is missing. Awareness leans gently toward this gap, not to fill it immediately, but to notice it. The mind has been your constant companion, yet even it hints at limits. This is the first stirring of intellectual consciousness. In this stage, questioning arises naturally. You begin to examine traditions, ideologies, and assumptions once accepted without thought. Logic enters the conversation. Patterns are traced. Evidence is gathered. Science becomes appealing not for authority, but for clarity. Philosophy lingers in the corners of thought, asking subtle questions. What is real? What is true? What is the nature of knowing? Awareness finds the courage to doubt inherited truths, not destructively, but inquisitively. Reality becomes a puzzle. Observation follows rules. Cause and effect are traced. Hypotheses are imagined, tested, and adjusted. Yet even as thought dominates, the mind reveals a paradox. Intellectual understanding can explain phenomena, yet it cannot fully experience them. Knowledge grows, but the self often remains trapped in interpretation. Thoughts replace belief, yet they form a subtle cage. You see the world more clearly, but a quiet longing persists for direct knowing rather than mediated understanding. And then, something profound occurs. Awareness begins to step back. You notice a thought without becoming it. You feel an emotion without surrendering to it. Silence appears between the waves of mental activity. Observation becomes possible. This is the stage of the observer. Here, you discover that you are not the mind, nor the emotions that rise and fall. You are the space in which they appear. The world changes subtly. Life feels lighter, less personal. Experiences no longer drag you fully into reaction. Suffering diminishes, not because circumstances improve, but because identification loosens. The observer watches the rhythm of consciousness, the rise and fall of desire, the ebb and flow of fear, without being swept away. A quiet clarity emerges, revealing patterns previously invisible. The habits of thought, the triggers of emotion, the subtle play of perception. Yet, disorientation accompanies this liberation. If you are not your thoughts, not your feelings, then what remains? The answer is not immediate. You do not find a new story to inhabit. Instead, a space opens, a presence untouched by movement or change. This awareness is steady. It is patient. It waits without judgment, without agenda. And gradually, the final stage approaches, the stage that cannot be achieved, earned, or forced. Here, the observer dissolves. There is no separate watcher watching, no identity to protect, no role to perform. Only awareness exists. There is no center, no edge, no narrative. The ego becomes irrelevant, falling silent not by struggle, but through absence. Fear vanishes, for there is no self left to guard. Desire softens because nothing is missing. Life flows effortlessly, unhindered by resistance or expectation. This stage is liberation, not escape from the world, but intimate union with it. Every sensation, every movement, every passing thought is experienced fully, yet without claim or attachment. Awareness is wide and clear, intimate and open. It remembers that it has always been here, even as the story of self recedes into silence. There is freedom not as a reward, but as recognition of the nature of consciousness itself. Freedom is not found in enhancing the ego, accumulating knowledge, or refining identity. It emerges when the question, "Who am I?" no longer seeks an answer. The search itself dissolves. What remains is not something to grasp. It is already present, quiet, open, unnected, alive without effort. This is the realization that the stages themselves were not destinations, but steps revealing the ground of awareness that never moves, never changes, and always observes. As awareness rests here, everything in life shifts. The ordinary and extraordinary blend seamlessly. You move, speak, and act with the same body-mind, yet each action is observed in depth. Reactions become conscious. Emotions are felt fully but do not dominate. Thought is used as a tool, not mistaken for reality. The world no longer imposes urgency, nor does it demand approval. You are both within it and beyond it, participating and witnessing simultaneously. This is the final truth of the journey. You do not arrive at liberation in the conventional sense. You do not earn it, nor can it be fully described. It is remembered rather than acquired. Yet the echo of its presence lingers in every step before and after. In curiosity, in observation, in the questions that guide each stage. From survival to emotion, identity, intellect, observation, and finally liberation. Each stage has been a soft unveiling of awareness itself, leading you gently toward freedom that was always waiting quietly beneath the surface. And now, having glimpsed the final openness, awareness rests for a moment, inviting reflection. What is left when thought, emotion, and identity dissolve, and all that remains is simply the experience of being itself? As this moment fades, allow yourself to notice what remains. Not the words, not the thoughts, not the stories that have guided your attention. What persists is the space in which all of this arises. This space does not change with time. It does not depend on understanding. It is simply here, quietly holding everything, without need or expectation. You may notice the lingering sensations in your body, the subtle rhythm of breath, or the faint hum of awareness itself. These are not distractions, but gentle reminders that the observer has always been present, even while the mind moved through survival, emotion, identity, and intellect. It has witnessed every stage, every rise and fall of thought and feeling, without being disturbed. There is no need to label, measure, or define this space. It does not require your attention to exist. It is not searching for meaning or outcome. It is free, just as it has always been, even when consciousness felt limited or constrained. The realization of this freedom is subtle, but profound. It is a quiet recognition that what has been sought throughout every stage was never elsewhere, never something to acquire, achieve, or escape to. Now allow the mind to soften. Let thoughts float like clouds across an endless sky. Let emotions rise and fall like gentle waves, without grasping, without judgment. Awareness remains steady, calm, and open. And as you rest here, remember, this space has not moved. It has not grown or diminished. It is the same witness that observed every stage, the same awareness that will continue beyond the journey. And it has been free from the very beginning, quietly, unwaveringly, effortlessly. All stages were only reflections within it, and stillness now reveals the simple truth. Freedom was never to be found. It was already here, waiting silently beneath everything.